it's hard for me to detach from the idea of disappointing them or not doing what they want me to do because I feel like I owe this to them because they gave me this life. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mumbling Thoughts. And recently, I've been constantly thinking about what I want to do with my life. And with that also comes with the idea that I might disappoint my parents if I don't get a job like they're expecting me to or follow a traditional path because in the last episode or because in the last video I was talking about how I don't know if I want to go into corporate and I feel like mumbling thoughts is what I want to work on. And I have this feeling that I would disappoint them because they're the one who's working hard to pay for my tuition, sending me to college, giving me this opportunity so that I can live a better life than them. But I feel guilty and I'm not really sure how to deal with that. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. So, I feel like ever since I was a little kid, I've always been a parent pleaser, if that's even a term, because I've always tried to meet the expectations that my parents had. I always tried to be a good kid. I just tried to be my best for them, if that makes sense. And I feel like it kind of stems from the feeling that that's the only way I can get validation from my parents, and it's like a reward or punishment kind of thing where I get rewarded for doing good things and I'll get punished if I do bad things. And since I don't want to get punished, I'll try to do my best. Although there were a few hiccups in the road, I feel like in elementary school I was kind of a problem child because I would. Wait, am I even recording? I would be so mad. Um, but especially since in elementary school, I literally got suspended so many times and literally almost expelled. And you might ask, like, Wes, how the fuck do you almost get expelled when you're in elementary school? And I don't know what to tell you. I was just doing little kid things, having fun. But I guess it was just unfortunate or I was unlucky. Because one time I was playing like guns, like handguns with my friend, and the principal walks by with the lunch lady, and the lunch lady thinks I'm sticking my middle finger at the principal, and I'm like, no, 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 I'm not doing that. But she was like, I saw you sticking your middle finger at the principal, you're in trouble. And then they call up my parents, and she comes into school, talks with the guidance counselor, and she's like, how fucking stupid are you? Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? I'm like, bro, whatever. But other than that, I feel like I just got into a lot of fights as a kid, which is kind of unexpected since I am a pretty timid person now. But I remember this one time too, I kneed a kid in the balls because he was trying to fight me, but we got in trouble. I think our parents got called to school, and honestly, my parents said, at least my dad, he was like, what you did, I don't have a problem with it because if he picked a fight with you, then defend yourself, fight back. And I'm like, that's what's up. But besides that, I feel like after elementary school, after I grew up, I started gaining consciousness of, or being more aware of my situation. Because coming from a immigrant household, as you may or may not know, has their own challenges in the sense that I'm not saying it sucks where it's difficult. Like, it's kind of difficult, but I'm not complaining about it. But in an immigrant household, you um, are expected to be the translator. You do a lot of document work for your parents because they can't read English. And there's other expectations placed on you as like doing good in school because they feel like that's how you make a living, by doing good in school and getting a job. And also, in addition to that, since my parents were a lot older than most parents around my age, because my sister's like 14 years older than me, I always had this feeling where I always felt like I had this responsibility to take care of my parents. And this responsibility that I placed on myself became a heavy burden almost, because I'd always think that, or I'd always be pressured to do things for them. In the sense that I wash the dishes because I know my parents are working hard, they're tired, and the last thing they'd want to do is come home, have to clean dishes to make dinner. And so that was one thing that I tried to help out with. Another thing was I tried not to go out as much because my parents didn't want me to go out, and I wanted to be a good kid. So I listened to them. And there were just a bunch of other things that I didn't do because I wanted to be a good kid in their eyes. And there were a lot of things that I did do, even though they didn't tell me to do, because I felt like it was my responsibility to do it, since they were working so hard, and I would feel bad or guilty um, if they had to do more. So I kind of placed this burden on myself. But the first time I really went against that, against their word, was when I got a girlfriend in like seventh grade. And at first I hid it from them because I knew they didn't want me to get a girlfriend. But I don't know what was wrong with me. Something, probably like the rebellious stage. But I started dating and I hid it from them until one of my mom's coworkers, or a bunch of my mom's coworkers apparently, saw me hanging out with my girlfriend at the time, and they told her we were kissing, we were holding hands, and she, when she found out, she was like, "Hey." Like, no, she didn't even say hey. She said like more than hey. She was just so fucking mad. She's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? You have a girlfriend? Why didn't you tell me? Why are you hiding it from me? Why are you even dating right now? You're in middle school. You should be focusing on school." Just a lot of parent stuff. Um, but and she wanted me to break up with her the whole time, the whole like 3 years we were together. She constantly wanted me to break up with her. But I was like, no, I'm not breaking up with her just because you told me to. Um, I love her, I was madly in love. And I guess this was the rebellious stage. But other than that, I feel like I was a good kid. Wait, actually, oh my god. Okay, so actually, there's just one more time. Like, I know you guys are like, okay, but there's one more thing, which is in high school, before we turned 16, thank God. But right before we turned 16, me and two of the boys, we actually got caught shoplifting at a mall, and we got arrested, brought to a precinct, and our parents had to pick us up. And when I had to call my dad, I'm like, Dad, I got arrested. Can you come pick me up, please? And he was like, what the fuck? And my mom was there with him as well. And she's like, what? What the fuck do you mean you're at the precinct? What the fuck did you do? Like, they were so mad. And then my dad came to pick me up, and he was just like, he looked so disappointed. And on the way back home, he was just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why the fuck did you do it? My dad's pretty chill, but he was pretty disappointed at that time. But the only thing he said was, yeah, you're fucked. Your mom's like so fucking mad. You're actually just done. You're done. And that was when I got grounded. I couldn't go out. But I swear, other than those few things, I was a good kid. And even my family members, like my aunts, my uncles, and everybody else would say, "Oh, Wes is such a good kid." And part of that was coming from my people pleasing tendencies, I guess, or parent pleasing tendencies, as I thought I had to be a good kid. I had to be on my best behavior for my parents and show this good side of me. But also because I feel like when you're in a household like that, you're kind of forced to be more mature because you took on more responsibilities. There were things that also like went on in the house that I was just like made me realize or come to sense to life, make me come to my senses. And I was just like, whoa, there's just a bunch of shit that I felt like was going on in the house that forced me to mature emotionally, at least. And that kind of made me grow. Even though I was just like a little kid, it forced me to grow into like establish or adopt a older mindset in order to like try to cope or deal with these kinds of events or responsibilities. And like the responsibility I was talking, um I don't know, like did you guys feel like you had the same feeling when you guys were growing up? Because for me, I just felt guilty if I didn't work hard or if I didn't help, because my parents, they came to the US to give me a better life. And if I didn't help out, if I saw them working hard and I kind of just went out and about and enjoyed my life without doing anything to help, I just felt super guilty, which is why I tried my best, like go help grocery shop, wash dishes so they don't have to after they come home after long days of work. Try not to make them worry. But then the thing is, somewhere along that point, I feel like this responsibility that I put on myself kind of started affecting my life choices as well, in the sense that everything I do, I'm always thinking about them or their thoughts, their opinions would be in the back of my head. And sometimes a lot of this is just me and it might not be them, but sometimes it could be like reality and what they would like, how they would uh, I can't even how they would react. um like going out, I felt like I shouldn't have went out as much, or I couldn't go out as much because I didn't want my parents to worry, or they didn't want me to go out, or there were things to do at home that they needed help with. And I just felt like if I went out and enjoyed my life, then I'm kind of taking my parents' work for granted. Um, in the sense that I felt like I should be doing something instead of fucking around. You know, I felt like I should be working, I should be studying, doing better in school, um, instead of hanging out with my friends and having fun. But then I feel like somewhere along the lines, I realized that at the end of the day, this is my life. And maybe it sounds selfish, but at the end of the day, there's going to come a day where my parents aren't going to be in my life anymore, and God forbid like nothing happens to them, because sometimes I get really worried that some shit might actually like have happened to them, and I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck, like what am I gonna do? But like I said, at the end of the day, if they're not in my life anymore, but I was constantly trying to satisfy their expectations and do things for them, then if they're not there anymore, what the fuck have I been living my life for? I just feel kind of empty. And I feel like this kind of is similar to a breakup, where if you constantly gave and gave to the relationship, or was doing things for the relationship and for the other person, if they leave or if you guys break up, you lose that person and you just feel empty. And I kind of feel like that's how it would feel if that happens, if I'm constantly trying to satisfy my parents. If they're gone, I literally would just have an identity crisis, or just a life crisis, because I wouldn't know what I'm working towards anymore. And after I realized that, I'm like, this is my life. It's not my parents living my life. So I'm going to start living my life the way I want. And that's also why I wanted to move out at one point. Like, I really, really wanted to fucking move out. Like, I feel like you guys probably understand this feeling, because when you are at this point in your life that you feel like you're constantly doing things for your parents, you just feel suffocated, in the sense that you can't really do anything. And it feels like your parents are always watching over your shoulders, or you have to report to them what you're doing. And even though you've grown up, you still have to do these things, and you just feel like you have no freedom. Which is why I really wanted to move out, because I felt like if I moved out, I would gain that sense of freedom back. And I would be able to do whatever the fuck I want, whenever I want, and all would be good. Well, I also mentioned in the past episode that I don't know if I would be able to deal with that by myself, having that freedom, because you would literally be by yourself, you know, unless you have a roommate. But I'm still like in between. I'm not sure, because it's gotten a little better now, after I realized that this is my life and I'm the one living it, not them. So I should make decisions that I can live with, that I am happy with, that I want to do, you know? And the thing is, when I say that, another conflicting feeling I have, I guess, is the sense of guilt. And I kind of said this before, but I feel guilty if I'm having fun, if I'm not helping out, if I'm not meeting their expectations, because they're working hard to give me this life. But if I'm having fun, if I'm enjoying my life, I feel like I'm taking advantage of that, or not really showing appreciation for what they're doing to me. And because of the sense of guilt, it's hard for me to detach from the idea of disappointing them or not doing what they want me to do, because I feel like I owe this to them, because they gave me this life. But what I came to realize was, they're your parents. They're your parents. They're my parents. They don't, just because they're my parents, doesn't mean they get to dictate my life. Yes, I'm super grateful for what they've provided me with. I'm super grateful for how they raised me, because came to realize that even though I didn't have the best, it still could have been worse. And because I realize it could have been worse, it makes me grateful for what I have. But I realized that how they raised me so right, in the sense that I'm looking at other people and I'm like, God damn, I'm so grateful for what my parents have done and how they raised me. But just because they're my parents doesn't mean they get to dictate my life, because it's my life, not theirs. They didn't give birth to me just so, at least I hope not, but parents, I feel like they shouldn't give birth to a child to impose their expectations on, or impose what they wanted to do on, because that child is another person. You are your own person. You're not your parents. I'm not my parents. I am myself, which is why I realized I can't be just trying to satisfy my parents' expectations or do what they want me to do. You get what I mean? And but what I could do to show appreciation, to show my appreciation for them, to show them that I'm grateful, is to work hard at what I want to do, and to give back. I feel like those two are the only two things that you or that I can do for my parents, for your parents, because you can't change what they think. You can't change their expectations. What you can do is change how you feel about what you do and what you do, how you do it, how hard you work. And if you work hard, that shows that you're not taking what your parents gave you for granted. You're not taking their hard work for granted, because you're working hard at what you love. And I feel like that's the only thing that you can do in the end, because you can't control what other people think. And sometimes what your parents want you to do, what they say they think they want you to do, might not be the best for you. And sometimes even then, even if you do listen to them, even then that might not be enough. Because I had this conversation with my sister, and she said that our mom told her to do this, and then my sister did it. But then my mom wasn't satisfied, so she told her to do something else. She did it, but my mom still wasn't satisfied. And this just kept happening, and my sister was like, yeah, nah, nothing is gonna satisfy her, nothing's gonna be enough for her. So you know what? I'm just not gonna listen to her anymore, and I'm gonna just do my thing, because why am I like doing what she tells me to do if I don't want to do it, and if she's not even satisfied with it? Then what the fuck am I doing? You know, that's what she told me, and that really got me thinking, you know, like, me too. Me too. Like, I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to have that where what I do, even if I do it, it's not enough for her, and I'm doing what she wants, but I don't want to do it, because I feel like it also will start building up resentment, um, if I end up doing what she wants, or yeah, what she wants me to do, and if I don't like it, if I hate it, I'm gonna start resenting her for it. And I just feel like that's not a relationship I want to have with my life, and it's just gonna make my life miserable, and it's gonna make my relationship with her terrible. Oh, that like kind of rhymed. There's just these moments, and I'm like, shit, do I pursue a rapping career? Nah, I can't sing for the shit of me. But I feel like it's just not a path that would see a good ending. Another thing, one final thing, but before I go, I feel like your parents, they say or they tell you to do what they tell you to do because they feel like they know what's best for you, but they don't really know what's best for you. They don't really know you. They don't really know me. Only I know what's best for myself because I know myself. Kinda. I know myself better than anyone, at least. And you know yourself better than anyone else. At least I'd hope so. And because of that, only what you know you want to do, or only what you do is the right thing to do because you decided to do it. And if you decide to do it though, I would say, like I said before, just work hard at it. Just work hard at it because that's the only way you can really show your appreciation for your parents. No matter what you do, I feel like you can't change what they say, you can't change what they do, what they think. But if you show that you are passionate, that you are working hard, I feel like that shows how grateful you are for them, and it shows that all their effort that they put into giving you a better life wasn't wasted. And I feel like that's the only thing you can really do for your parents. Um, yeah, I feel like that's all I really had to say for this video. Thank you all for listening. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell to keep up with these mumbles with me. And if you guys feel this way, leave a comment in the comment section below, because I know it's a really hard thing that many of us deal with, because it's either our parents are superimposing and they tell us what to do and we feel like we're trapped, or sometimes we impose this responsibility on ourselves but we feel miserable, you know? So if you guys feel this way, let me know what you guys think, how you guys deal with it, because although I say a lot of this stuff, sometimes I go back on my word, or I'm always going back and forth because I'm indecisive and I'm not sure. It's confusing. Life's confusing. And that's why we're here though, right? So thank you all for listening. That's all I had to say. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.